2022 Quorum Court meeting to order. And I'd like to recognize Bishop R. L. Jones Sr. of the Bethlehem Temple Church to be leading us in prayer this evening.
Let us pray. Gracious Father, Lord, we thank you for this court meeting. Lord, we thank you for this county. Lord, we ask you to bless tonight. Let them do the business that you did for our county. That we be one county, one place, in this county. Lord Jesus, bless each and every one that came tonight. And these blessings us, gospel of Jesus.
You remain standing as your action for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heard you call the roll.
Justice Ash. Justice Burns.
Here.
Justice Cole.
Here.
Justice Cleveland.
Here.
Justice Hepler. Here. Justice Jackson. Here. Justice Lewis.
Here.
Justice Rangat. Justice McConaughey. Here. Justice McDonald.
Here.
Justice White.
Here, and I'd like to note that Justice Ash has called me, and he's on his way, and it's going to be a couple minutes late.
All right, next item on the agenda is the reading and approval of the minutes.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes since we've all been provided with copies.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll move on to treasurer's report. Peggy, do you have a report for us this afternoon?
The interest rate on $100,000 CD for 1 year is 1.10, and that is at the First Commercial Bank in Waddle. And the sales tax report you have in front of you, the sales tax that we received for May was up from last month, and it is still good. And I mentioned to you last month that our sales tax may be off the charts for long. What we're going to receive this week, I may have to redo those charts. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. So that is a really good thing. I had to practice hard on those charts, so I don't know if I'm going to have to redo them or not, but it's a really good thing. So that is a good thing. And we also have the fund balances in front of you as of today.
Any questions for Peggy? Thank you, Peggy. We'll move on to our next item. The committee reports will wait, which will pass the personnel committee and local officials act. Justice White, give a report on finance.
Yes, sir. We had our regular monthly finance committee meeting on June the 9th. Excuse me, not June the 9th. Got the first couple of days. Last Monday. But we had several items that we wanted to talk about in the finance committee meeting, and I'll try to make it as brief as I can. We talked about our COVID pay program, where we incentivize our employees to get COVID vaccinations, and we give them a incentive if they would get the vaccinations. We've got down to the point now in the program that they're not to zero. All of our employees that wanted vaccinations have gotten, they've all been incentivized, and we're looking to possibly end that program. Circuit courts rent was up for discussion. We had to rent a building across the street from the Ohio courthouse for an office space for the circuit clerk's office during the renovation project. We're not quite ready to move back into the renovation courthouse yet. It's getting very close. We just wanted to talk about whether we needed to appropriate additional money. It's just not there yet. Veterans Office has asked for some additional office equipment. There's the appropriation ordinance on our agenda for that tonight. The judge's office needs some additional computer equipment, and you'll see an appropriation ordinance for that tonight. There's a couple, 2 computers and 3 monitors, if I remember correctly, Judge. The public defender's office, the person that owns that building had asked for a rent rate increase. We've been paying a very reasonable rent rate for the public defender's office there in Iowa, and they just asked to increase to $400, which is still a very reasonable rate. And so we're going to appropriate and approve that rent increase tonight. The judge wanted to discuss the land rate. The county actually owns 300 acres of farmland now, close to the county sheriff's department. We rent that out on an annual basis, and we're in the 11th project where we'll increase the value of the land and the farmability of the land. And so the judge just wanted to talk about the progress that we made on that 11th project. The juvenile department wanted to come and talk to us a little bit because one of the circuit court judges at Broadway had applied for kind of a hazardous case associated with service that is given during COVID. A lot of different public service officers were provided additional monies in the form of bonuses. The judge had applied for such a grant and had received it. So our juvenile officers in the county will be receiving prorated rates based on the number of years of service. We talked a little bit about what was going on out at the airbase, the money that we appropriated for our state and federal lobbyists. The city county now has state lobbyists, and we also have federal lobbyists that are helping us with grant projects, look for funds and get funds appropriated from the city county well. One of the things that came up was the need for additional fire services out there, so we're going to be working on that. In order to have a plane like Air Force One or some of the larger jets come in, we have to have a certain level of fire protection. And we're right now not there. In fact, I think it was brought up, the anecdote story was told where one of the jets came in, a B-52 was coming in, and they actually flew a fire truck from Jacksonville, the air base of Jacksonville, and it was only there for a couple hours, but we had to have that level of protection. So we like to raise our own level here in this city county so that we can host more of those. I personally brought up the need for helping our communities and counties with infrastructure. We've gotten some additional COVID funds for the county. We're very restricted as to how those funds can be used. We've actually received quite a few dollars from the city county in that respect, but we've also hired a consultant that will keep us legal and how those funds can be applied and appropriated. But one of those means will be for infrastructure. If you read almost weekly in the paper, some of our small communities, I think the last one I read maybe this week is having trouble with their sewer issues there. Luxor has had trouble with their water issues. Manila has had trouble with almost every issue. It's just everything's growing so fast. If we're going to grow as a county, we need to support our communities and help us with our infrastructure. Maybe with this COVID money, that might be an opportunity. So we discussed that just a little bit. The first reporting for our ARP money, revenue replacement money, COVID money has taken place already, and the report went well. And basically, Judge, that's pretty much the gist of the report.
I would like to add something to that. You mentioned our lobbyist, our DC lobbyist firm, Timber Creek, will be arriving here tonight at 9:30, or we'll be arriving in Memphis at 9:30. And we've got a meeting scheduled for most of tomorrow, well, actually all of tomorrow. And we're waiting on dates for the Mullinax firm out of Little Rock. We've got a big group that is all going to come together and get to those cities, representing the region of those cities. But now we've got into summer months and vacation schedule, so we're trying to work around those. So we'll be meeting, and I'll let everybody know when that's coming.
Look, I think you'll back every statement when we say how excited we are about the lobbyist and the potential that they've opened up in Mississippi County?
Very much so, yes. Both of those groups have been working actively. They've been very hands-on. The DC lobbyists and we meet at least once a week, sometimes 3 times a week. The Volnax firm, we speak with them very often. We've got them a lot of information they need, and there's email changes going back and forth, and it looks like they're getting exactly what they're looking for. Any questions for Justice White? Justice White, was that planning and development meeting in that?
No, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's wait, I'll go to Justice Sachs.
Yes, sir.
Justice Sachs, do you have a report of the personnel committee?
Yes, it is, Judge. Personnel committee met on June 9th at 1:30 at the next building. We were looking at renaming the finance director, but come to find out we had already done it. It just wasn't appearing on our sheet. Now comptroller / finance director. We have a JSEP study coming out this year where we look at how we need to adjust salaries for all the positions at the end of the year. We also had some job descriptions brought to us by the juvenile department, but we talked with the head judge and the actual director of the juvenile department, and they didn't want to take it out, so they wanted time to review them at the table until we have that meeting. We are looking into a longevity package for all county employees. We want to be able to differentiate between new hires and people who have been with us for a few years. So we're going to be bringing something forward from the personnel committee and finance to look at when we budget the coming year. Justice McDonald wanted the county to look into celebrating Juneteenth. We will have a resolution tonight amending our personnel handbook that Juneteenth as one of our recognized holidays for the county, and it will be following the federal holiday, which has already been made by the president. That was pretty much it for the personnel committee meeting.
Any questions? Justice Sachs, you got a report on the Rosen Bridge.
Yes, sir, Judge. We met on June 1st at 1:30 in its building. This meeting was to just do a general information about what was going on with the county roads. We asked you to give us some information and what it looks like in the excessive rainfall behind. Of course, I think we're past the excessive rainfall now, we're wishing for a little bit. But at that time, we left 54 tons of coal mix that been applied to asphalt roadways. 22 ditches have been cleaned out. Replaced 16 culverts, 1,020 loads of slag have been put out. Stockpiling red clay gravel, 1,300 total. We've been stockpiling. The road project started with 3-inch overlay on the state funds on Byron Road. Bridge project RDOT at $500,000 is moving along in excess of $1 million. They started repairs, RDOT's started repairs on I-55 between Burdett and between Burdett Bottom and Burdett. We purchased a new front end loader, a larger one. And there's a report that the road department built their own de-icing equipment, which worked very well this year in the ice storm. And I think it prepared to move forward and put this more together. Ditches were cleaned around Highway 119. Highway 119 was taken over from the state on U.S. Steel's property. Justice McClennan had asked about lighting at the on-rail intersection of 312 and 18. RDOT is not really interested in doing that, and we would have to get permits if we decide to do it. We have 2 trailer truck systems that dump slag, and we don't even have to have a grader. It just dumps it out in the proper amount, so we use less grader time. And all of our new trucks have GPS systems on them. we retained a John Deere tractor that was under lease, and we purchased that lease out. And we asked you about the RDOT's 23 bridges, and they are in the process of getting started on replacing 23 state highway bridges in Mississippi. We discussed why we have so many potholes. Everybody thinks it's the salt, it's actually the water getting in the cracks, expanding and contracting and breaking the asphalt out. That's it.
Any questions for Justice Adams? Thank you, Justice Adams. Mr. White.
Yes, sir. Planning and Development Committee meeting, June 23rd. Had many of you folks with it, that meeting, glad to see items like that tonight and some issues that we have. Planning and Development deals with economic development. And one of the biggest projects that we were talking about in the recent community y'all did tonight is for Chime Solutions. Chime Solutions is a call center. It's a customer service style call center. It's not a mobile home or solicitation center. It's owned by Mr. Mark Wilson, who has businesses in Dallas, Atlanta. It offers call center telephone jobs for up to 150 people. They all have to get involved. The jobs we expect will probably pay between $15 and $16 an hour, and these aren't heavy-duty physical manufacturing jobs. These are jobs that people not capable of going out and picking up a big piece of steel out of Big River or Newport. This is for folks that don't have the opportunities to work in those margin mills like that. It's going to be a lot of jobs and with the opportunity to maybe grow. The money that they're asking for is mostly associated with training, taking and training these people through ANC. I've got Mr. Cliff Chitwood here, and I've got his new second in command, Sergeant Mallory. But if you have questions, we'll be glad to ask Cliff. Cliff, is there anything you'd like to specifically add to this particular?
Well, as you said, Chairman, primarily, all the funds that the court is being asked to provide will go either towards training Mississippi County people or paying them during their training. This will be a service call center for Cigna Insurance, who will be dedicated to Cigna. It's quite a training course. It's 8 weeks, 40 hours a week, to get people to stay through that degree of training. They need to be paid, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to put ourselves in a position with a company that can offer good jobs to an underserved, previously underserved population in our job attraction.
It'll be 40 hours a week for 8 weeks. These people will be undergoing training. So we're going to appropriate, we're going to vote on tonight, $1,991,531 in Chime Solutions. We're training 150 people, most of which will go to the ANC college program. We also had a Sierra Group request for increasing 30 jobs. They've gotten a $500,000 loan secured to Bancorp South, or Southern Bancorp. The executive board of Greta has recommended a $250,000 offset payment on the $500,000 loan, and that loan is secured by a second lien on the equipment in the company. So you'll see an appropriation ordinance for that tonight. We also discussed an at-risk company appropriation project associated with Cleveland 2. They're coming in and doing a $50 million investment. They're going to increase 60 jobs at the time we have this meeting. We're going to ask for an appropriation ordinance tonight, but Cliff just brought me some new information about the project is increased in size. So when it comes down on the agenda, Judge, with your permission and endurance, I'll probably make a motion that we amend the agenda and we pull that Cleveland project from the agenda tonight, that appropriation, and reassess the increased size of the project and maybe adjust our offer to Atlas. It's not a done deal with the company. This is an offer. So we also talked about work here, live here. I'm sure everybody's heard of the folk that we're hoping will take take home in the county, sponsor the time, the industries in the county, where the industries will pay their employees or help their employees buy new homes if they'll move into Mississippi County. The project was intended to pay 10% of the new home cost of a home from $200,000 to $500,000. Half of that for a used home, an older home, with stipulations that those employees would be with that industry for at least 4 years. The program must be sponsored by the industry. It cannot be sponsored with taxpayer money. But we do have very strong interest now in commitments from, I think, both, correct me if I'm wrong, the U.S. Steel and Newport are both committed to this program now. And in relation to that, the county would like to appropriate $1 million for capital offset programs for those industries that will encourage the industries in their growth, help them in their growth, which will encourage employees to be hired to move Mississippi County. So while we can't directly sponsor, we are encouraging the industry's participation in these programs. So you'll see a $1 million appropriation for that tonight. We did introduce this now regarding the Vice President of Greater River Economic Development. We're trying to have you Ms. Darby, Tachyon. German equipment makes battery chargers for charging stations. They're getting them through the Snyder building. They're interested in looking at it and they're talking about it. We also had another site visit by SK, a Korean chemical manufacturer. They're looking at a qualified site in Osceola and Big River Steel. Could bring 150 jobs. Fridger Tech, company that's already been here in the county, they expanded from 4 to 10 jobs, and now they're looking to add another 30 jobs and bring a large part of their manufacturing from Germany to Mississippi County. So we did have 7 appropriation ordinances on the agenda. We'll pull one of those and probably have 6 tonight. And the judge announced that he was hosting representatives from both Senator Bozeman and Senator Cotton's office this next week. They just want to see how we're doing this. How are we being so successful and why are we so great in Mississippi County? Because we really are. So, Judge, with that.
Thank you, Justice White. Any questions for Justice White? Thank you, Justice White. I would like to take a moment and recognize Mr. Gary Kovar is here with us tonight. And I understand, Mr. Kovar, you have some guests. Would you introduce those, please?
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Tonight, our honored guest is with us, the representative from Chime. He is actually the visionary that I've had the privilege and honor of behind the scenes for a little more than a year talking about tonight, and to be with him tonight in person. His name is Mr. Keith Winchester. He is actually one of the homegrown locals that grew up in our grassroots areas. He's now traveled by local here from Atlanta, Georgia. He is now the director for Chimes, and I'd like to yield the floor to him. Mr. Keith Winchester.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here tonight. My CEO, Mr. Mark Wilson, could not be here tonight yet for his engagement he had to be at. So I'm happy to be here. I get emotional when I'm talking about it because not only is this a great opportunity to come here and bring Chime solutions to the area, but being from here, I grew up 35 miles from here in Holmestown, Missouri. I spent a lot of weekends and fun nights in Mississippi County. I have family that's still here, a significant amount of friends that are still here in the area. And just being able to know what Chime Solutions, the impact we potentially have in this area, it just blows me away. It's one of the reasons that Mr. Kovar and I started talking, continues the talks that we had about what can be done. He told me about different industries that's here, different organizations, and I said, hey, I think we can help. And through conversation with Mr. Mark Wilson, he said, hey, go for it. Fully supported the idea. So I'm just happy to be here. Thank you. I appreciate it. And looking forward to great things with this county. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And Mr. Chitwood, I believe this is Mallory's court meeting. I know that there was some introductions at the committee meeting, but you introduced, her tonight.
Yes, Malcolm Darby, is the new vice president on the Greater Economic Development Foundation. We're very fortunate to have been able to hire Mallory. She has 12 years experience in economic development, all of it with good economic development agencies, and hopefully she can make ours better. She had quite a trial by fire this week. We had 2 site visits, we had 2 proposals to turn into the state, and we had plenty of development committee meeting to get ready for, and she handled it all absolutely perfect. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wallace, for attending tonight's meeting. We're honored. We'll move on to our next item on the agenda is the resolution.
Resolution number R 2022-14. A resolution to add Juneteenth as a county holiday and to include it in the employee handbook and Mississippi County, Arkansas. Whereas the Mississippi County government has resolved to add Juneteenth to the employment policy and procedure handbook within the section covering county holidays. And whereas the Personnel Committee has approved these amendments to the handbook, and whereas Juneteenth shall be recognized as a county holiday, its date coinciding each year with the date observed by the federal government. Now therefore be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that 1, the County Employee Handbook of Mississippi County, Arkansas shall be amended in all applicable sections referencing county holidays, so as to add Juneteenth. Number 2, Juneteenth shall be celebrated as a county holiday annually on the same day as the federal government. Second.
Is there discussion?
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Byrd?
Yes.
Justice Cullen?
Yes.
Justice Cleveland?
Yes.
Justice Hubler? Yes. Justice Jackson?
Yes.
Justice Lewis?
Yes.
Justice McClanahan?
Yes.
Justice McDonald?
yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
On 2022.
We'll move on to the, ordinances. The first item is appropriation ordinance for the public defender's office. Mr. Curry, would you read the ordinance?
Appropriation ordinance number O 2022-34. An ordinance authorizing additional appropriations for the public defender's office rent increase. Whereas certain functions of the government of Mississippi County, Arkansas are in need of funding, including the need to cover a rent increase for the public defender's office. And whereas the Office of the Public Defender of Mississippi County recently received a rent increase from $300 to $400 per month, and whereas the county had previously appropriated the public defender's office an entire year's worth of rent based upon a rate of $300 per month. Therefore, an additional $600 are needed in order to pay the office's rent for 2022. And whereas the Finance Committee has reviewed and approved these appropriations, now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that 1, the following appropriations modifications are hereby made for the fiscal year 2022 budget. Slot or account number 1000.0417.3070 for rent and the amount of $600. Number 2, all appropriations previously authorized, approved, and made as to all other offices, departments, and agencies of county government, and all other funds not hereinabove changed are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and filed with the office of the county court clerk. 3, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately upon and after its passage and approval by the county judge.
Move for adoption.
Is there discussion?
Judge, this $600 is just the increase that it's gonna take to finish out the rest of the year. We'd already incorporated the rent. You just raised it $50 a month.
$100, right?
Excuse me, $100 a month.
Any other discussion? Mr. call the roll.
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Burke?
Yes.
Justice Cullen?
Yes.
Justice Freeman?
Yes.
Justice Hutler? Yes. Justice Jackson? Yes. Justice Lewis?
Yes.
Justice McClanahan?
Yes.
Justice McDonald?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
We move on to the next appropriation ordinance for the Veteran Service Office for small equipment.
Appropriation ordinance number 2022-35. An ordinance authorizing appropriations for the purchase of small equipment by the Veterans Service Officer, where certain functions of the government of Mississippi County, Arkansas are in need of funding, including the Veterans Service Officer's need to purchase various small equipment, and whereas the Veterans Service Officer is needing to purchase certain equipment, including but not limited to a computer, a monitor, and a printer, and whereas the total amount needed for the purchases is $3,000, and whereas the Finance Committee has reviewed and approved these appropriations, now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that one, the following appropriations modifications are hereby made for the fiscal year 2022 budget. Slot or account number 1000.0800.2002 for small equipment in the amount of $3,000. Two, all appropriations previously authorized, approved, and made as to all other offices, departments, and agencies of county government, and all other funds not hereby changed are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account number within the category for each office and filed in the office of the county court clerk. Number three, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately from and after its passage and approval by the county judge.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion? Heard, you call the roll.
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Burke?
Yes.
Justice Cullen?
Yes.
Justice Freeman?
Yes.
Justice Hutler?
Yes.
Justice Jackson? Yes. Justice Lewis?
Yes.
Justice McClanahan?
Yes.
Justice McDonald?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
We'll move on to the next appropriation ordinance, ordinance for the county judge's office, small equipment.
Appropriation ordinance 2022-36. An ordinance authorizing appropriations for the purchase of small equipment by the office of the county judge, where certain functions of the government of Mississippi County, Arkansas are in need of funding, including the need to purchase small equipment for the office of the county judge, and whereas the county judge's office is needing to update 3 of their computers and 2 of their monitors, and whereas the total amount needed for the purchases is $4,500, whereas the Finance Committee has reviewed and approved these appropriations, now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that one, the following appropriations modifications are hereby made for the fiscal year of 2022 budget. Slot or account number 1000.0100.2002 for small equipment in the amount of $4,500. Number two, all appropriations previously authorized, approved, and made as to all other offices, departments, and agencies of county government, and all other funds not hereby changed are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and filed in the office of the county court clerk. Number three, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately from and after its passage appropriation ordinance number 2022-37. An ordinance authorizing appropriations for the Chime Solutions call center project. Whereas certain functions of the government of Mississippi County, Arkansas are in need of funding, including an appropriation that will cover expenses associated with the incentives offered to Chime Solutions and their plans to open a call center and training facility within the town. And whereas Chime Solutions by and through Arkansas native son, Mark Wilson plans to invest this money within Mississippi County, Arkansas, with the intention of developing a modern workforce and to offer economic opportunities targeting African American women within the county and otherwise undertapped workforce. And whereas the expenses are estimated to be $1,991,531. This shall be used for employee training, including but not limited to pre-employment training, CIGNA-specific training, and new hire training. And whereas the appropriation has been reviewed by the Planning and Development Committee who approved this action and has sent it to the full court. Now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that one, the following appropriations modifications are hereby made for the fiscal year 2022 budget. Slot or account number 3414.0174.3999 for Chime Solutions Call Center Project in the amount of $1,991,531. Number two, all appropriations previously authorized and made as to all other offices, departments, and agencies of county government, and all other funds not hereinabove changed are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and filed in the office of the county court clerk. Three, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect and immediately from and after its passage and approval by the county judge.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion?
I have a couple questions for Mr. Chidley.
All right, please do.
So the commitment and the request for the state for their payment portion of it, and I believe the community meeting said the other day we requested $500,000 from the state. So although we were discussing it to different people, so how much have we requested from the state?
We get discussions, I think it's about 400,000, we got this training, 400,000 paid training. And so all, and resolution, none of the money will actually go to China, it will all flow through the their solutions group. So, both the training money and pay salaries while people do the training. And then whatever we receive from the state, we will not draw down that thing.
So if we commit 1.9 million and then we get 800,000 from the state, then we will actually only expense 1.1 million. Is that what you're saying? Okay. My other question is because there appear to be several figures that are kind of either ambiguous or just really kind of approximate. So anything that's not spent will be left over when there's a reconciliation to go back into the economic development fund. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the pay action for the payment for the employees is going to go through the solutions group. So agency will be paying those payroll checks as well.
Any other discussion?
Judge, this is truly opening a new door in economic development in Mississippi County. We intended to hold to strict manufacturing regulations, but we adopted the state economic development policy. And it does open the door for this type of industry, this call center type of industry. And I think this is an opportunity to raise the level of living, to improve our standard of living in Mississippi County at the base level. I thought Justice McDonald the other day had an exquisite talk when he talked about the need to raise our lower paid employees' pay. And this is an opportunity for that to happen. I think we have to open this door to these people and give them the opportunity. And if it fails, it fails. But it's our responsibility to at least try and open this door. And it may get bigger, it may not. But I pray for its success, and I ask for everybody's vote of approval.
Justice, thank you, Justice White. And I know we had a lot of concern about Chime's solution county case, the block. It's a different company. And I thought about this for a while back. We've had a lot of manufacturers coming, basically a lot of steel corporations. A lot of people don't want to work for steel corporations. A lot of people are not going to get hired. This is something totally different. We often raise the question, why do our children leave here? Why my daughter will come back and why? How are we going to do retail? Here's 150 positions for people to get in and dress up. So this means that now retail is coming back. The guy that owns the cleaners, he's thinking of closing. Now he has an opportunity to expand his business. This is a gentleman sitting in this audience who talked to me, man, I got some guys who want to do something. Why don't y'all invest in cleaners? They got customers. We are going to have to start as a county to reach out to the different businesses, because I know Mr. Wilson just said back there. How many other different types of businesses have spun off of a Chime solution? How many other things have spun off of that? When are we going to start to say, hey, we have a unique opportunity for Mississippi County to grow? This state in the target, they stand in target, I'm asking you guys, they stand in target beyond African American women and expand the target upon the people of Mississippi County. We have a great opportunity to make some impact change for our children. Do not let this go, because this is what this is about. And I understand where you're coming from about the money that is spending, moving and investing. The greatest investment that you can make is for somebody that you don't know before your children. I want to see the business grow. I want to see everybody in this process. We now have the possibility of doing it. I'm 100% for Chime solution because of the other thing that's going to bring. This is the start of something that you do not even begin with. Chime solution, people are growing up in downtown, it's going to start back growing, and this is just not for us. Everybody, Manila is next. The south end of the county is next. When things like this happen, it spurs everything. So yeah, that's why I'm 100% for, not just for African Americans, for everybody. Because we all grow together.
Judge, I think this is an opportunity, you know, in the years, many years after, we have lost a lot of jobs, where the ladies in the home were there, lack of single work. Because I've been on the phone for almost all the jobs we created, have been in the steel and created jobs, other than then so. And we haven't had the opportunity to create some jobs where you can have a second income in the family or a single parent. And this is a perfect opportunity. That's expendable income. That helps the county. I think it's a great thing.
I don't want to seem silly, but I do want to ask this question. I mean, if men apply, it's an equal opportunity.
Absolutely.
If you have to, it's kind of ambiguous, say what the word in there. We couldn't open up a legal issue here.
You know, that does bring up one of the community leaders in Bible told me this afternoon, we were discussing, and the fact that it even mentions in here, we're targeting African American women, but it's truly open to everybody. It doesn't matter what their color or what their sex is, what their faith is, it's open to everybody. And there's 150 jobs to be had here, and we're hoping a lot of different people participate.
I think it's an excellent project. I will add, though, I believe that there's going to be some factors in there that kind of tailors these jobs toward maybe single mothers or job, entry-level type positions that if people fulfill that no other job would be. I believe it's also going to have some child care associated with it, and the training will also have some transportation associated with it. Thanks to our college, so I think this is a win-win situation, and maybe the best project that has been brought to us by this foundation. So we're grateful for that, grateful for Mr. Tovar for bringing it to us, and I think the entire county will benefit from this.
Judge, if I may say, if I may speak for a moment, I want to say openly that when you and I had a private conversation, you talked about the loss of the amount of census, and those numbers made a major impact. When you shared those numbers, I don't think a lot of people really realize that 7,400, approximately 7,400 people that we talked about that did not fill out those census impacted our county. We lost approximately $210 million that will not be coming back. And that turned that money, once you and I had that conversation, and I want to thank you for your leadership, thank this Quorum for giving us an opportunity, having the knowledge and understanding that there comes a time, even though it doesn't seem like it's easy to do the right thing all the time, but I really understand now that this is a great time to do the right thing, and I want to thank you with this forum for giving an opportunity to make some kind of soften up some of the things that we know is the impact that's going to be there for our county. Thank you.
No more discussion. Mr. Irvin, will hold
Justice Sack?
Yes.
Justice Byrd?
Yes.
Justice Cohen?
Yes.
Justice Cleveland?
Yes.
Justice Hilbert?
Yes.
Justice Jackson?
Yes.
Justice Lewis?
Yes.
Justice McClanahan?
Yes.
Justice McDonald?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
We'll move on to our next appropriation ordinance with general capital offset.
Appropriation ordinance number O 2022-38. An ordinance authorizing appropriations for general capital offsets. Where certain functions of the government of Mississippi County, Arkansas are in need of funding, including an appropriation that will cover expenses associated with general capital offsets that are being awarded within Mississippi County, Arkansas. And whereas these offsets are awarded to different industries by the county government as an incentive for the industry to invest within the county. And whereas the county would like to appropriate an additional $1 million for the purpose of awarding these capital offsets, and whereas this appropriation has been reviewed by the Planning and Development Committee, who approved this action and has sent it to the full court. Now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that 1, the following appropriations modifications are hereby made for the fiscal year 2022 budget. Slot or account number 3414.0177.3999 for general capital offset in the amount of $1 million. Number 2, all appropriations previously authorized, approved, and made as small as the offices, departments, and agencies of county government, and all other funds not hereinabove changed, are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and filed in the office of the county court clerk. Number 3, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately upon and after its passage and approval by the county judge.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Yes, Judge, a few questions, that's come across even since the finance committee meeting. This $1 million appropriation is set in a general account, capital offsets, that can be drawn, requested by any of the industries that are participating in this, program of supporting the county. This was designed to help support and encourage participation in the work area wheelchair program, but it's not set for just Big River Steel or Newport Steel, correct?
Well, each one of these will have a specific unique agreement. This
Yes.
one,
Was specifically for Big River Extension, is that
yes,
what
but
money for?
That's all. It's not
Right? So this is
above bar as far as the way that the program is supposed to work? Attorney?
Why's that? Any other discussion? Heard, you call the roll.
Justice
One last question, I'm sorry.
Oh,
So does it not need to say these for Big River still? That's why I was thinking.
this would be fine if it was the will of the court to set up a separate account, or before any money was dispersed, there would be an economic development contract signed between the judge and participating company that, which is.
So in theory, this ordinance could be for anybody who wants to participate.
In theory, it could, but by the day after tomorrow, it becomes.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, so if the county wanted to put, $5 million in general offsets, and
Right.
anybody, and you could contracts based on that.
Right.
I got you. And the SWAT number is for anybody, but this particular $1 million is for River. So we were kind of over.
Any other discussion? Mr. you call the roll.
Justice Ash,
Yes.
Justice Burge,
Yes.
Justice Cullen,
Yes.
Justice Freeman,
Yes.
Justice Hurley,
Yes.
Justice Jackson,
Yes.
Justice Lewis,
Yes.
Justice McConaughey,
Yes.
Justice McDonald,
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
We move on to our next appropriation ordinance dealing with the Sierra Club.
Appropriation ordinance number O-2022-39. An ordinance authorizing appropriations for economic incentives offered to the Sierra Group. Whereas certain functions of the government of Mississippi County, Arkansas are in need of funding, including an appropriation that will cover expenses associated with the incentives offered to the Sierra Group and their plans to expand and create jobs within the county. And whereas the Sierra Group plans to expand their business into manufacturing and will create 30 jobs from this expansion. And whereas the Sierra Group has secured a loan in the amount of $500,000 from Southern Bayport, the county offers $250,000 to the Sierra Group as a capital offset and shall be given a second lien on Sierra's Group equipment as collateral. And whereas this appropriation has been reviewed by the Planning and Development Committee, who approved this action and has sent it to the full court, now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that one, the following appropriations and modifications are hereby made for the fiscal year 2022 budget. Plot or account number 3414.0175.3999 for the Sierra Group project in the amount of $250,000. Number two, all appropriations previously authorized and made as to all other offices, departments, and agencies in county government, and all other funds not hereinabove changed are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and filed in the office of the county court clerk. Number three, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately from and after its passage and approval by the county judge. Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Judge, I apologize, I was not able to make the meeting when this was discussed. I do have a question. Why is this in the form of a loan resolution and through the normal economic development process?
This is the way I understand it, it's not a loan, it is, well,
had several of these, efforts to help grow private business, small business in this manner, where they take out a loan, and then we use our funds to actually pay off part of that loan, which makes it easier for the bank to make the loan. And then we take a second mortgage on the equipment involved. So,
I guess my concern is the last time we had a second lien on and he cost the county $2 million. Yeah, you were involved, and we were all involved.
Okay.
We had to do it, we had to give up the lien, so the state could take the lien on,
ARG.
ARG.
Right.
That's right. And I don't remember, I'll stand corrected, but I thought in the past we'd always had this as the number of jobs being created and so on. I don't have any problem with it. I don't know if it's waste other than what we have done in the past.
I had a very similar question the other day, and if it's okay with the court, I'd like to defer to Mr. Scott. He gave me a great explanation of why we do this with smaller companies where the state does not participate.
We did this with Arkansas Mechanical Precision Technology, we've done one or two in there. And this allows a smaller business to get funds immediately up front, as opposed to some of these others here that have to create jobs, they have to keep them employed for 2 years, verify that they created 30 jobs. This allows the smaller businesses to get funds front end as opposed to back end. Say your lien is filed, there's a chance that you won't ever actually get the business were to fail, you have to pay off that first mortgage, and then try to liquidate it to get quicker. There's a good chance that you won't get that money back. However, that's the way to protect the county in some water, or at least, have a lien there to protect us where, they are still obligated to pay the person. They are not required to pay this $32,000 back if they grant, if we file a lien, but,
Well, my concern is, I believe we had a discussion a year or a year and a half ago that in the future that we would be cognizant of the fact that people who apply would need to show that they have this financial ability to continue the business, that we weren't going to be necessarily restarting. Did we not have that conflict?
yes, in this particular case here, they did go small business development center. They have provided course projections for Arkansas State University. They are an existing business here that has been very profitable. But they've met all obligations. They have received approval from their bank for medical funds for now. So the ones that don't go to the state to be vetted are not eligible for the state financial loan. If we do, we'll make sure it's a viable business, not just the one money we play with.
Just prior to that, I might add, I don't know if you were at the first meeting when we talked about this, but his plan also is to purchase raw materials from the Mississippi County business and then turn around and turn them into another product that he will then sell out of state. So it's gonna be a regeneration of funds in multiple industries.
I was just concerned, like I said again, I apologize for much for you, but I was just concerned that it's not the normal process.
No, so it is a good question, and since it is a grant, Mr. Scott, at what point in time does the lien get dropped? What's the definition of when you take that lien off? Is it when it meets the 30 jobs?
When it meets 30 jobs, for the first one is paid off.
Any other discussion?
Justice Sash.
Yes.
Justice Burke.
Yes.
Justice Collins.
Yes.
Justice Kingman.
Yes.
Justice Huntworth.
Yes.
Justice Jackson.
Yes.
Justice Lewis.
Yes.
Justice Lewis.
Yes.
Justice LaFanahan.
Yes.
Justice McDonald.
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes. So, you looking at the next appropriation ordinance?
I am.
Well, the next appropriation ordinance deals with Wheatland /Atlas 2. We've had some additional information come to us since our last meeting, our committee meeting. The project appears to maybe have grown in size, and the need likewise has appeared to have grown in size. So with the court's indulgence, I'd like to make a motion that we amend tonight's agenda and withdraw the appropriation ordinance regarding week 2 until we can kind of regroup and reform our office.
Second.
Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will remove that from the agenda. We'll move on to the next item for new business. I would like to recognize and thank Mayor Sanders from Blythe being here tonight, as well as Mayor Wilson. As well as Mayor Wilson of Osceola and our own Sheriff Cook. Thank you, Sheriff. We do have Marcus Garrett in the back there. Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir. In reference to that new business, I don't know if this business is considered new. I'm tired of that. I was looking through my computer. I saw a thing that says the worst cities to ever live in. And several of those cities were where steel mills have been, Pittsburgh and all those places. When they pulled out, they found a lot of things that were supposed to be taken care of by the steel mill. The steel organization was not doing that. So I don't know who will have to put that in, but I was wondering if there's some way we can get someone to make sure that when it comes to both pollution and what they're doing with our water, what they're doing on the soil, that is reported where somebody can look at something accordingly so that we can have a referendum to make sure that they're doing what they're doing while they're here to fix it, not to wait till they go. Then you don't have funds or opportunity to contact you to get them done. I don't know if EPA is doing that here, but they left some of the other cities. That was a real problem. And it created a thing where they knew that years before they were going to move out, but they didn't leave anything for the county or the state. And so they have to wrestle with the state funds to get that fixed. So my whole proposal is that maybe we need to be smarter. Don't want business to go anywhere, but we can make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do while they're here. Because with our wetlands, with our soil and our water, the river, we don't need to have any of that stuff contaminated because they said they were doing something. And we didn't have the right checks in place to make sure that they were doing what they're supposed to do. So I don't know who will operate it, but I think there'll be some worth checking.
I agree completely, and not just our steel mills, but all of our industries here. There was an article in the National County magazine last month that pinpointed an area in just an ordinance that industry was a port authority that their water system was in great danger in that area. So we need to be astute in all of our industrial areas to make sure that we are not polluting our environment.
Right, and a lot of those places, when all those people pulled out, council rates went through the roof. So just need to be real cognizant of that. I don't know who will have to see it.
Thank you for bringing that up. We'll move on to old business. Yes, sir.
What about the ambulance?
Well, it has been put on hold, but it is ready to get right active again. Whenever you're ready, let me know.
I'm always ready to go.
All right. We'll move that back to the front burner, and you will, I'll have Mr. George get with you, and we'll find a good dates for that meeting, and we'll get them back scheduled, and we'll get that back active again.
I think we've got one of those committee meetings and all, we population safety.
Yeah, there's gonna be an announcement, we have one Thursday at the end.
Good deal. I think that will be a good time to bring that back to the table.
I've got my objection.
We'll set it on the, we'll do it on Friday.
Any other business? I want to thank all of our guests for coming today. It's, like a good meeting. We'll start the rest back next month. Thank you for all attending. I'll introduce, our
Move to adjourn.
second. We're all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.